If you have seen episode 6 of WandaVision, you'll know that the wacky world of Westview is continuing to grow, but that's not the only thing. With Wanda and Vision's children, Tommy and Billy, also growing at rapid speed, with them even starting to exhibit powers. With each passing minute, Tommy and Billy are becoming more and more like their comic counterparts and becoming some of the most powerful beings in Westview. But what exactly are their powers? And why exactly could their powers mean the downfall of Wanda and the fulfillment of an age-old MCU prophecy? At the time of doing this video, WandaVision haven't revealed how the twins came to be, but in the comics, they're conceived by Wanda using a piece of the demon Mephisto's soul before he subsequently devours the children. Tommy and Billy do survive and grow up to become the superheroes Speed and Wiccan respectively. And although their conception may have involved a demon, they use their powers for good and become members of the Young Avengers. Currently, as of right now, their powers are actually quite streamlined and basic to what they are in the comics, but that does not mean that they can't eventually become more developed over time. To simplify it though, the twins' core powers are basically the same as their mother and their uncle, aka Wanda and Pietro, with Tommy having super speed and Billy having telepathic abilities. But in the comics, they also have their own little flourishes. Tommy, aka Speed, can run at supersonic speeds like his uncle Quicksilver, and also has increased durability and strength so his body can withstand intense speeds. Both Speed and Quicksilver can also vibrate themselves, making them temporarily intangible, meaning they can pass through obstacles such as walls. But as we said, Speed can also do things that Quicksilver can't, such as being able to vibrate the internal frequency of objects, which accelerates their kinetic energy and can cause them to explode. But it's arguably Billy, aka Wiccan's powers, which are more interesting, as he is already exhibiting powers Wanda doesn't.
What?
So as we mentioned, Billy, aka Wiccan, has powers that closely match his mother Wanda, although in the comics, his powers do differ, and it is hinted for some time that he'll become even more powerful than Wanda. That's because Wiccan can alter reality itself, and he uses this power to give himself further abilities such as the power of flight, force field, teleportation, and lightning blasts. One thing that does perhaps play against Wiccan though, is the fact that he has to vocalize the spells in order to make them happen, so he can keep his mind focused and make what he intends to happen come to fruition. But even with this drawback, there are many fans out there that think that he could become even more powerful than Wanda, and that could certainly be the case in WandaVision. Despite the fact that Wanda is exhibiting more powers than ever before in the MCU, Billy has already shown a power that she doesn't have. As Vision tries to escape the Hex, his body starts to disintegrate as soon as he steps outside of it. But despite the fact that Wanda is apparently in control of the Hex, it's not her that realizes Vision is in jeopardy, but instead, her son Billy. That's because in the comic books, another one of Wiccan's primary powers is to sense and hear people in order to gain knowledge, in order to track their exact location, and the closer he is to the person, the easier they are for him to sense and track. That's why he's able to pinpoint Vision's location and tell Wanda that he's in trouble. The reason why Wanda doesn't know Vision's in peril before Billy tells her is the fact that, despite being clairvoyant in the comics, the MCU version of Wanda doesn't have these abilities, at least as of right now. But if Wiccan does become more powerful than Wanda, could it be him that takes down Wanda and saves Westview? Very much so. In fact, it's been teased way before WandaVision was even announced.
I don't understand what's happening.
Now, while we don't know the whole ins and outs of what's going on in WandaVision, and if perhaps Wanda is under the influence of such Marvel villains as Nightmare or Mephisto, there is a distinct possibility that Wanda's own creation could be her downfall. Wanda and the Hex have been theorized to cause mutants, and be the reason for many of the mutants or other Marvel superheroes to be brought into the MCU. We are already seeing this with Monica Rambeau. Although it's different to her comic book conception, Monica is already exhibiting changes after going through the Hex twice, and is likely on her way to becoming the superhero Spectrum. If this does happen, it is highly possible that Monica uses her Spectrum powers to take down Wanda, creating a sense of irony that Wanda's own creation leads to her downfall. But it could be her even closer creation, her children, that lead to her demise and destroy the prison that she's created. This could be in a metaphorical sense, that her empathy for the children leads to her downfall, or they could literally turn on her. As we mentioned, there is actually evidence to support this claim. In a Game of Thrones style prophecy back in Age of Ultron, when talking to the twins, Ultron says, quote, "Everyone creates the thing they dread," end quote. Oh, he also says, quote, "Children are designed to supplant them, to help them end quote. Could he literally have been talking about Wanda's very own children? He was talking directly to the twins after all. Tommy and Billy's particular powers could break Wanda's illusion, and they could supplant their mother in terms of power. Despite their powers being more streamlined, they could grow through the course of the show and make Ultron's prophecy a reality. If this will happen, though, we'll just have to wait and see. With Tommy and Billy stepping into their powers and some other Young Avengers characters on the horizon, we shall surely be seeing the Young Avengers in some form in the MCU in the near future. There might not be any concrete plans as of right now, but we also wouldn't be exactly shocked if Kevin Feige makes that announcement in the next year.